speaking from Pathways. It's the Strategic Leadership section, Level 2. And his topic is surrounding techniques to conquer worry. Very timely topic. And do you have his title, Kara, or should I give it?
Please give it.
Okay. His title is Don't Worry, Be Happy, and his time is 4 to 6 minutes.
Please welcome our experienced Toastmaster, Mr. Venki.
Thank you so much, Kara. Good morning, everybody. Today my speech is about don't worry and be happy. So one of the things that I used to struggle a lot, not very long ago, is I used to stress myself worrying about each and everything. And I'm sure many of you might have gone through the same phase. For example, not very long ago, I used to tell myself that I'm not a competent speaker. So I used to worry about it. In my meetings, while I was having conversations with my managers, with leaders whom I really wanted to speak with. One of the worries that I always used to have is that I wasn't able to speak my mind clearly. So all these worries are creeping through my head, right? I always had these brilliant ideas which I think are going to really help the team or just give different solutions for different problems that our team might be facing. But I always felt, so I asked myself two questions. What am I worried about and what can I do about it? For example, if I'm not a competent speaker, I'm worried about the fear of failure. The fear of failure in a meeting, the fear of failure while talking to somebody, the fear of failure while networking with someone. Now, what can I do about it? Now, I can give more speeches and I can improve my confidence. I can talk with more people and fail and learn from that experience. So these are all the actions that I can take. One action I took 3 years ago is to join our Pacesetters Toastmasters Club. So if you remember, Shelvin and Bradley and Jana, when they saw all my speeches very early, 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago, they always encouraged me to be able to give more speeches, go through different manuals to be able to really improve my speech and also my communication skills. So I was actually listening to a podcast on a book called How to Stop Worrying and Start Living by Dale Carnegie. If you don't know who Dale Carnegie is, I definitely want you all to check it out. So Dale Carnegie is a thought leader and a public speaker who taught thousands of people around public speaking. So he mentions about 3 techniques of how we can stop worrying and start living. So the first technique actually removes 90% of your worry, which is nothing but come to a clear decision by asking questions. What are you worried about? The second technique removes 10% of your worry by taking clear action. And the third technique, which removes the remaining 10% by not, again, getting that worry creeping through your head, right? So for example, there is this story that I listened yesterday from a person on a podcast. So he mentioned the story of a person named Gaylord Lynch, who used to be a managing director of a Asian insurance company back in 1942. One day, a Japanese admiral came to his office and said, liquidate all the assets of the company and give it to him for the Japanese government. So he liquidates all the assets, but he saves $750,000 worth of securities which belong to one of his other branches in another country. When the admiral finds out about this, he was so much worried. And then he actually just took a few minutes to understand what is he worried about and what can he do about it. Now he listed down all the actions, what he's worried about. He's worried about If he runs away, that the admiral is going to caught him. If he speaks and tries to help him understand why he did it, maybe because the admiral doesn't know English, he might again kill him. So, and the final one that he thought was, okay, I'll just go to the office tomorrow, just like the way I do it every day. And hopefully the admiral has other big problems to worry about. So he made a clear decision. The second step that he did was he took that third action item to actually do it the next day. So he went to his office, the admiral came back, and he just didn't say anything, and the admiral left. So from this experiment, he mentioned that 50% of my worry has actually gone when I just took time and note down all the options that I have and giving the probability of what is the most likely action that gives me the highest probability to succeed. Number two, he now has a clear action to take. That actually removes the 40% of his worry. The third one is actually implementing it. He implemented this the next day, and hopefully, that really helped him to have a clear thinking. Because one thing that we always do is, for everything, the first thing naturally that comes to our mind is to worry about that problem. Like right now, we are all in pandemic, right? All we need to do is, again, sit back and ask two questions. What am I worried about, and what can I do about it? And take clear thinking and do clear actions to be able to really find out what is it that you can do about it and how can you solve these problems. Thank you so much, and don't worry and be happy.